Hello YouTube, welcome back to my channel. This is Mike and I'm here to do another movie log, and I have started this video something like 12 times. I've been sitting here for almost 45 minutes trying to get this done, and I just keep shutting it off because I either forget what I was going to say or I start stumbling over my words and look like a fool. So I'm determined to get this done, because my videos seem to be farther apart, coming out less frequently than ever, and I don't know, I think I'm losing my motivation, so I'm not ready to give this up yet. I don't know. I've been doing YouTube stuff for 11 years now, and it's probably time to just, close it down, close down the channel, and find something else to do, but I just don't want to let it go. So let's see. I'll just keep the camera going no matter how foolish I look or sound, and hopefully I'll get it done. So, movie log, what I've been watching and added to the collection lately. So first of all, I finally got around to watching Avatar, which I've had on the shelf for a while. This was a gift given to me by my good friend 4K Frank. It's a nice 3-disc edition. 3 different versions of the film, loads of extra features, very nice package. And I decided to watch the theatrical version, which I guess is the shortest, and it was still pretty long. I waited a long time to watch this because I wasn't really sure if this was going to be my style of my idea of a fun evening, because I'm not that crazy about the animation thing and special effects and all that. But I finally got into the mindset that, okay, I'm going to sit and watch this. And I surprised myself. I enjoyed it. It was a very moving story, beautiful to look at. I have to admit, with all the stuff they did in this film, it was very impressive. So yeah, I will watch this again. I would say it's way too long. There are a lot of things I would cut out. And I can't believe they have hours of additional scenes. You got to be kidding. Good grief. But anyway, it has a very moving story, but then eventually it turns into Star Wars in the jungle, right? And the battle scenes go on forever. Now, my friends were telling me, when I announced in my Facebook group, the Film Appreciation Group, that one of the group that I moderate along with some of my friends, they were telling me that, okay, it was all about John Smith and Pocahontas. And I honestly was not getting that at all. I certainly got the connection between the Native Americans and the Europeans coming over and trampling on their pristine civilization and all that sort of thing, and all the messages about the environment and global warming and pollution. So that's all very important stuff. And I have the Terrence Malick film, The New World, which is about John Smith and Pocahontas. But when I watched this, I didn't think about them at all. But anyway, I did enjoy it. I will probably watch this again. So, Frank, thank you once more. And here's the film that I picked up. I picked this up $1. No, I sent away for this from oldies.com because Dennis Hopper is in it, one of my favorite actors. But the star of the film is Kevin Costner. It's called Swingboat. This is from 2008, I believe. 2008? Yep, 2008, okay? So it's been quite a while. Let me read on the back what this is all about, because this is classic Kevin Costner Americana, right? Just the kind of thing you would expect Kevin Costner to be in, all right? Kevin Costner stars in Swingboat, a clever and feel-good comedy. It certainly is. Bud Johnson, played by Costner, is an ordinary dad drifting through life, caring about nothing except his overachieving daughter, Molly, played by Madeline Carroll, trying to encourage him to get involved. Molly accidentally sets off a chain of events on Election Day that ends with the presidential race coming down to one vote. Bud's, who did not even want to vote at all. Molly voted in his place, and I'm giving away spoilers, sorry. Comedic chaos ensues as Kelsey Grammer, who plays the President of the United States, Dennis Hopper, who plays the man who's running against the President, and Paula Patton, Nathan Lane, Stanley Tucci, Judge Reinhold, and Willie Nelson, and Mary Winningham, and George Lopez. give all-star support in a witty and uplifting film that's charming, funny, smart, touching, and profound. Let's don't run out of adjectives. Directed by Joshua Michael Stern. Okay, I enjoyed this movie thoroughly all the way through, but I was exasperated at the same time because you just know how you're being manipulated. It's so obvious with every meaningful look on Costner's face and every bitchy remark by his little daughter who is so precocious it's almost sickening. And the guy is clueless and the little girl is sort of the only one who is mature and knows what's going on. Dennis Hopper is very good in this. He's doing his latter day post sobriety decent actor, versatile actor persona, and he's very good. In one of the interviews, he says that even though he's playing a good character, he said he's not going to give up his day job of playing the bad guy, and he kind of laughs, which is very cool. Kelsey Grammer is very good, and it's a good movie. Lots of appropriate music at the appropriate times, and if you don't mind being manipulated and getting your heart warmed when they are just determined to set it on fire, you will probably enjoy this silly movie. Okay. Swingboat. I went out and I picked up the steelbook of The Man Who Fell to Earth at Best Buy after I heard my friend Roger Kirby talking about this. I saw this movie when it first came out back in 76, 75, one of those years, and remember liking it, having kind of mixed feelings about it, being very confused by it, and had not seen it in all these decades. So when Roger was talking about this, I decided I will go to Best Buy and see if I can pick one of these up. I'm very glad that I did. It's a beautiful thing to have on the shelf. Nice artwork. Now this has the digital copy, which I won't use because I never do, right? And the 4K edition, which does me no good whatsoever. And it also has a Blu-ray. So beautifully redone, remastered, lots of extra features, and David Bowie is terrific. I mean, he was fantastic in this, and it's a shame he didn't do even more acting than he did, because the guy was very impressive, certainly unique, and in a category all his own. Also, Candy Clark is very good. Rip Torn is in it. He's also very good. And I enjoyed the film. It's like Avatar. It's overlong. I think that it some of it I probably could have done without, but it's not science fiction, even though there's maybe 2 minutes of science fiction in the film, but it's impossible to categorize, really, in the same way that David Bowie is impossible to categorize as a performer, especially as an actor. There's just nobody else like him. So thanks to Roger for recommending this. I just sort of, he did recommend it. Of course he did. Stop babbling, Marty. I also picked up the special edition of one of my favorite films, The Bat from 1959. Vincent Price, Agnes Moorehead. This is from the film Detective. And they had another edition before this, which I have, and I'm going to give it away. But this one has audio commentary and some other extra features. And I love this film so much. I saw this at the theater in 1959 with my family when it first came out, and I've seen it many, many times. Had a VHS copy for years that I just played to death. But this looks terrific. And it's the only film that Agnes Moorehead actually starred in her very long and distinguished career. She gives a great performance in this, even though the story is completely old-fashioned, and I guess a lot of people don't like it because it is way too old-fashioned, very predictable. You sort of know who the killer is long before the end of the film, but I just love it. I guess I just love the characters and the whole atmosphere. So, and I picked up this, since I'm a big fan of Ethan Hawke, I picked this up from oldies.com. Sally Hawkins and Ethan Hawke in a film called Marty from 2015, I believe it is, based on true characters, true events. Marty is a woman who is increasingly crippled by arthritis, and she is unmarried, and she's living with her very repressive family. She wants to break free, so she goes to work as a housemaid with this for this 40-year-old bachelor played by Ethan Hawke, who is about as cantankerous and unlikable as it gets. But they eventually form a very strong bond. They fall in love. She happens to be talented as an artist, and she becomes well known as a folk artist. And it's a very moving story. Both of them are very, very good, and Ethan Hawke continues to impress me by his versatility. So I enjoy this very much. And finally, another one of my YouTube friends, a guy named Jared Wignall, did a series of videos about the films starring Humphrey Bogart and Lauren Bacall. To Have and Have Not from 1945, followed by The Big Sleep, 1946, Dark Passage, 1947, which is my favorite, and finally in 1948, Key Largo, which also starred Edward G. Robinson and Claire Trevor. And I enjoyed watching his videos. I don't think I watched the one for To Have and Have Not. And I recently watched that film, so it was fresh in my mind, but I wanted to watch all the others again. And I even went out and bought the Blu-ray for The Big Sleep, because this has the unreleased version, which was redone, and before they released the film, they decided to redo it because they wanted to promote Lauren Bacall more. So the story is that Lauren Bacall and Humphrey Bogart had this smash hit in To Have and Have Not, which Lauren Bacall just came out of nowhere and was so incredibly unique and impressive and beautiful and sexy, and they had such great chemistry, and they had a real life love story. They fell in love while making this and eventually got married, and it's just, nothing like Lauren Bacall really had ever been seen before. There have been vampish actresses going all the way back to Theda Bara in 1915, but she was the new version, and she was just like nothing you'd ever seen before. So after they immediately made The Big Sleep right after, okay, and that's when they ended up getting married. And so they made this version of The Big Sleep, but they put it aside because it wasn't, these were the war years, and they wanted to put another film out with Lauren Bacall entitled Confidential Agent, co-starring with Charles Boyer, because this had a wartime theme. And it's based on the novel by Graham Greene, which I have here in this nice little deluxe mystery espionage book set. I also have The Big Sleep by Raymond Chandler, which I like very much. Fantastic book. And Confidential Agent, I had a hard time engaging with this book. I just couldn't really get into it. And I had the same problem with the film. Now, this film did not do Lauren Bacall her career any good at all, because she wasn't anything like she had been in To Have and Have Not. Just like people were thinking, okay, what in the hell happened to Lauren Bacall? She was so incredibly sexy and unique in this, and in this one she's just dull. And it really wasn't her fault. I never saw this until just about a week ago, and I don't really like the film that much. I think it's a weak story. Her character is a badly written character, and it just does not. She does as good as she can with what she's given, but it's just not that interesting. So anyway, what they did was they went back and they redid a lot of scenes in The Big Sleep to promote Lauren Bacall and Bogart and Bacall together, and it became a smash hit. So when Lauren Bacall's persona from the To Have and Have Not, although it was already being modulated and changed a little bit and more mature, it was still there for everyone to experience, and it was a huge hit. And then we get to Dark Passage, which is nothing at all like The Big Sleep or To Have and Have Not. Lauren Bacall's persona is even more mature in this, but this is my favorite film. I think it's just a wonderful mystery and one of the most incredibly perfect examples of film noir, as is Key Largo. Now, Key Largo is a film that I was never I always liked the film, but I never liked Lauren Bacall in the film. And I remember telling Jared in one of the comments that I made on one of his videos that I didn't think that Lauren Bacall was interesting when she played Noble. In this film, she plays a very sort of a normal lady, very virtuous, very honest, very direct, not at all sexy or anything like that. And in fact, they got this picture of Lauren Bacall, and she looks nothing like that in the movie. Okay, but in watching this again, I found myself looking at her performance in an entirely different way. I think I just had to get the persona from To Have and Have Not out of the way so I can appreciate her in a completely different kind of role. And this time, I actually liked it. I saw the film. I've seen this film many times. The last time was in a John Huston film class, and I didn't enjoy it that much because I thought Lauren Bacall was so dreary and so inappropriate. This time, it's almost as though I saw the film for the first time. It's funny how your perceptions can change over time, and it's just so it was great. And again, just like Dark Passage, I would say this is another perfect example of film noir. There's so much going on in this. Edward G. Robinson is just acting up a storm. Bogart is a little bit subdued, as is Bacall. It's very appropriate for their characters. And supporting performance by Claire Trevor also is all over the map. So she's a great match for Edward G. Robinson. But I thoroughly enjoyed this movie, directed by John Huston. Okay. So anyway, that's my movie log, and I'd like to hear any comments you might have to make, and hope you enjoy this. Take care.